Chapter 40. Change your thoughts, change your life. 40th verse. Returning is the motion of the Tao. Yielding is the way of the Tao. The 10,000 things are born in being. Being is born with non-being. Living by returning and yielding. I see one of the greatest teachings of the Tao Te Ching here in the shortest of its 81 passages. If you can master the wisdom in these 4 lines, you will be as happy, content, and centered in the Tao as any sage. With the first word, returning, you're being nudged towards an understanding of the basic principle of your existence. Without needing to leave your body, you're asked to die while alive. You accomplish this by realizing that you're one of the 10,000 things that has appeared in the world of form. What Lao Tzu is expressing here in the 40th verse is what contemporary quantum physics has confirmed many centuries later. Particles do not come from particles at the tiniest subatomic level. Instead, when the infinitesimally small specks are collided in a particle accelerator, there is nothing remaining but waves of particleless energy. In order for you, a much bigger speck, to form, you must have come from an originating spirit. Now, Lao Tzu may have known nothing of quantum physics in the 6th century BC, but he was teaching an essential truth even then. It's spirit that gives life. So, to truly live out your destiny as a piece of the originating Tao, you must shed your ego and return to spirit. Or you can wait until your body dies and make your return trip at that time. 6 centuries after Lao Tzu dictated the 81 verses of the Tao Te Ching, the man who wrote a huge percentage of the New Testament also swept the fields with them. Formerly called Saul of Tarsus, he became known as St. Paul, an apostle of Jesus Christ. In his letter to the people of Ephesus, he wrote, You were created to be like God, and so you must please him and be truly holy. Ephesians 4:24. This is an invitation for us all to return to what we came from, which is loving, kind, and not exclusive in any way. How is this accomplished according to St. Paul and Lao Tzu, who emphasizes this point in many of the verses of the Tao Te Ching? You do so by yielding your ego, surrendering, and being humble. To that end, in his letter to the people of Corinth, St. Paul quotes Jesus directly. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Paul then goes on to say himself, Therefore I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. 2 Corinthians 12:9-10. Indeed, yielding is the way of the Tao, as well as the key to an uplifted existence, according to virtually all spiritual texts that have survived over the centuries. When you truly change the way you think about all of life, the world begins to look very different. You begin seeing everyone and everything as if they have round-trip tickets. You know they all arrived from spirit, and you know they must return. All that composes also decomposes, and whether anyone else understands that isn't, and whether anyone else understands that isn't important to you. You find the awareness that life on earth is a death sentence to be a liberating and amusing good one. You're choosing to live every day, each moment that you have, and as much as you can as the non-being aspect of yourself. As a being of spirit, you decide to use your return ticket while you're still in physical form by keeping yourself in precisely the same loving status that you occupied before entering this world of boundaries. As you take your return journey, you not only get to lose your ego identification card, you have the added bonus of regaining the power of your source, which is the all-creating power of the universe. You merge into the oneness of a being who dissolves ego concerns, and the world that you now see is perfect and infinite in nature. There is no more worry, anxiety, or identification with your possessions. You are a free person. You are a spiritual being, first, last, and always. This is what I feel that Lao-Tzu is telling you in this brief yet profound teaching of the 40th verse of the Tao Te Ching. First, monitoring the direction, emphasizing the turning and yielding. Mentally make an effort to assess every step you're taking in all aspects of your life, including in your career, your relationships, and your health, in terms of directionality. That is, ask yourself, in which way am I truly moving? Am I getting away from my originating place, or am I returning to it? As you make this assessment, you can be more forthright about returning to, rather than moving away from, the Tao. A resolution to exercise or eat more nutritious foods is a step taking you back to the well-being from which you originated. A decision to suspend your ego and take an interest in another person is a movement of moving back to the Tao. A determination to be generous rather than hoard is a choice to be in the return motion. All of these actions come from your thinking first about the direction in which you're moving, away from the originating spirit or back to it. Second, surrender. This is what yielding is all about. Recognize that your little ego does nothing and that the Tao creates everything, including you. As I sit and write these words in my magical writing space, I know that I don't own what mysteriously appears on the paper. I've surrendered. I know that God writes all the books, composes all the music, and erects all the buildings. I bow to this all-creating power. While it appears that all of the 10,000 things are born of the world from beingness, as I think about it more, the beingness itself came from non-being. It is to this glorious state of non-being spiritually, or the Tao, that I yield. I encourage you to do the same, and then peacefully observe how it all flows together perfectly. Do the Tao now. Strategically place a picture of a yield sign, frequently found as a traffic device, within your field of vision. Each time you look at this sign, use it as a reminder for you to return to the Tao. At least once each day, rather than continuing a disagreement seen on the spot. In the midst of talking about your own achievements or basking in the light of your ego, stop and become an instant listener. The more you yield each day, the more you return to the peace and harmony of the Tao.